I will pull out my plans that I talked about last week and show you exactly what I accomplished this week, but suffice it to say, I blew last week's goal right out of the water and I'm like halfway through this week's goal already. Well, hello and welcome to Michelle's Fiber Studio Podcast. My name is Michelle and I am your host. Today is Sunday, July 7th, 2024, and this is episode number 13. If this is your first time joining me, well, thank you so much for checking me out. And if you are a returning viewer, well, thank you so much for coming back. Today is another hot and sticky day. It's actually been really hot and muggy for a good part of this week, and that's kind of the name of the game here in New England in the summertime. We got the hazy, I think I called it the 3 H's last week, right? Hazy, hot, and humid. I have, however, so much to talk about today, so much progress to share. I'm really excited. Before I dive in though, let me talk about what Marta's wearing. Marta has a really old project. This is one that I did back in 2000. I finished it in July of 2010. It is the Pure Silk Lacy Scarf by Ivy Brambles, and the yarn is by Ivy Brambles. It's 100% pure silk in the colorway Bluebell Woods. This is one that I saw on display. I saw this exact pattern. Ivy Brambles had a booth at the Fiber Frolic back in 2009. And they had that shawl on display in their yarn, and I fell in love and bought the yarn and the pattern and set about to make it. I started it right away in June of 2009, worked on it for, I don't know, maybe a month or so, and then it got set aside until the following June, and then I completed at the end of July of 2010. So this is one that I've had in my wardrobe for a really long time. It's a lace weight, so it was a true lace shawl, but I thought it was a good one for today where it's kind of lightweight, it's silk, won't make Marta too hot in this heat and humidity. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Let's dive right into my project bag. I think I'll start with my Ameyo. I got so much done this week. Oh my goodness. Super excited to show you. So let's open this up. And look. All the way down there, I have my marker. So I got a ton done this week. Here's the whole thing. Again, this is the right side. Get it in nice and close so you can get a good look at it. And then the wrong side with my mohair that is taking center stage. So yeah, it is coming along. I will pull out my plans that I talked about last week and show you exactly what I accomplished this week, but suffice it to say, I blew last week's goal right out of the water and I'm like halfway through this week's goal already. So that's a little sneak peek into where that landed. The yarn, just real quickly again, because I know I've talked a lot about it, is from Haute Knit Yarn. And this is my fingering weights, the Jimmy Sock in Summer Clover. And then my mohair is 38, and that is the colorway for that one. So I am moving right along. I have high hopes of getting this one done before the end of the month, just like I had planned. I still have a fair amount of yarn left, and I haven't even broken into those second skeins. Remember how I wound them up before I went to New York? But look how much I still have. Like, I think that's pretty good. So we'll see. Of course, the shawl is getting bigger and such, but I am, I think, 2/3 of the way through section 3 of, I want to say 5 sections plus the border. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, that is my Ameyo. Get this tucked away. All right, next I'm gonna take out my islands in the stream. This is another one I got a lot done on. I had a fairly quiet week, actually, even though it was a holiday week. And I had a lot of opportunity to just kind of sit and relax and do knitting. So there we go, look at that. Again, I got my stitch marker down there. That's my little Molly stitch marker. So I completed my color number 5, the island section, and then for color number 6, or what is labeled color number 6 in the pattern, what I chose to do was to take all 5 of my mini skeins and just stripe them in, since I only had 5 colors and not 6 colors. So I thought that was a really good solution. I really like how it came out. So there's the whole thing. Yeah, and it's coming right along. I am now starting section 2, which is my main color. There's like 27 rows, I think, of this color. And then you do the islands, excuse me, you do the islands section here, but it'll be in the reverse. So the color in the middle is going to be the gray with alternating colors of the mini skeins. So let's talk about the yarn again really quickly. Here's my main color, and this is Dirty Water Dye Works. And this is in their Lillian base, and the gray is March Sky. And then I had a 5 skein gradient also in the Lillian, and it is Moon Shadow. There we go. So yeah, that is coming along as well. So I'm pretty excited about this progress, and I have, again, high hopes to get this done by the end of the month. So yeah, we'll see how deep into the month it takes me, but I'm feeling good about the progress that I'm making on that one. All right, the last project that I want to show you is my Clarkei. I had a goal of finishing it this week, and that didn't happen. But you know what? I got so much work on everything else done, I'm okay with that. So, but let's take a look where I'm at. I'll make sure I'm holding up the right side. I gotta make myself like a little, I think what I'm gonna do is like do a twisted yarn or something and make myself a little loop in the back of the neck, so that way I will know which side is which. But there you go. Look how much I got done. I have completed the pattern as it is written down to the hemline, and then at this point I need to split. It has a split hem seam, and you work the front and the back separately in separate pieces, so that's a split hem. So what I chose to do at this point was to put it on my try-it-on tubing here. Ooh, and my stitches are starting to run away from me. I gotta make sure I grab those. But I did put it on my try-it-on tubing so that I could block it. I wanted to see what would happen. I was afraid that if it blocked out longer that I would lose width, or shorter, and I would gain width. So what ended up happening is when I measured it pre-blocked, it was 34 inches around, it was 17 inches across, and it was the 10 inches in length. Then I blocked it and measured it just now, and it is 16 inches across, so 32 inches around, and it is 11 inches long. So I guess that makes sense. I lost it this way, but then gained it this way. And I don't know if that's because it was pretty heavy when it got wet. It's the yarn is bamboo. It's 100% bamboo, Southwest Trading Company. It's very old yarn that I've had in my stash for a very long time. But I did try it on again. I can actually share a picture of that right here with myself trying it on, and it fits perfectly. Even though I'm a 34-inch bust and I was actually shooting for like a 36-inch finished measurement, So I'm not sure why it's working so well when it's actually smaller than my measured bust, but it fits perfectly. Maybe because it's a tank top and so I want it to be a little more close fitted, but it's working anyway. So I am excited to continue on with this one and get these stitches moved off. It's still slightly damp, but I think I can actually knit on it again and it will be okay. So I will pick up those runaway stitches and get that transferred off of the try-it-on tubing and get started on that. I have a couple of quiet days this week. I'm gonna go, my mom is staying in a little cabin on the ocean for the week and I'm gonna spend a couple of days with her. So I'll have a good chunk of knitting time to work on this. So maybe this week I can finish it. I guess I won't set any hard and fast goals, but that would be nice if I got it done this week. So we will see about that. So let's take a second and review where I was and what I wanted out of this week with my project plans. So last week was July 1st through the 7th, and my goal was to finish Clarkei, which I didn't do, and to do, I can't see what I'm looking at, Islands in the Stream. I wanted to do Color 5 and Islands 5, and then I wanted to do 14 rounds on my Ameyo. And I definitely got the Islands in the Stream and the Ameyo stuff done. And look, let's look at this week's goal. And you can see I've already finished half of what I wanted to do in the Islands in the Stream because I got Color 6 done. And look at all the boxes I checked off in my Ameyo. I'm about halfway through on this week's goal for Ameyo as well. So yeah, that would be really great if I could get those done. I have this week and next week before we go camping and this week here. And it would be nice to have some projects completed so that I can maybe plan and start something new. So maybe next week I'll have some project plans to share with you with what I have or what I will be thinking of bringing camping. So we will see. So yeah, that's what I got in my project bag. I'm super excited about everything that I got done this week. Project dreams. I have no new yarn acquisitions, so we're gonna dive straight into our random knitting fact. This one I found again on, I think it was Fact Finder, and apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently Queen Victoria was a prolific knitter all the way until her death. In fact, the reign of Queen Victoria, which was from 1837 to 1901, saw an explosion of all sorts of handwork, including knitting, and that coincided with the development of trade with wool growers, which is pretty fascinating. I didn't realize that Queen Victoria was a knitter. I wonder what she liked to knit. I wonder if she was a lace knitter, or if she made socks, or what fibers she liked to work with. That's kind of a fascinating thing to consider, huh? The Victorian age has, I think, is kind of characterized by a lot of that lacy, I don't know if Baroque is the right word, but a lot of laciness in what they did. So I actually suspect, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm wondering if perhaps her interest was in the lace weight of yarn and doing like lacy garments, lacy shawls, lacy runners and doilies, and I don't know, gloves. Didn't they make like lacy gloves, like, you know, went all the way up the arm? I wonder how much of her own wardrobe she made, or if she knit and gave it away to others. But that's pretty cool. And she was on the throne. She was the longest reigning monarch up until Queen Elizabeth II recently. So that was a really long reign. And yeah, it was a different world too. I'm sure she didn't do nearly the traveling that the monarchs do these days either. So she probably had a whole lot of time to sit around and do some knitting, huh? Sounds pretty good to me. All right, in my day today this week, like I said, I actually had a fairly quiet week. For the most part, my days were pretty quiet with the exception of the 4th of July. But before that, on Tuesday of this past week, my husband and I took out one of our nieces. Her birthday was towards the middle of June. her birthday occurred actually not long before we went to New York, and we just didn't have a chance to take her out before then. So we did that this past week. She wanted to go to Olive Garden and do a little bit of shopping. And we actually weren't even able to make her a birthday party because that happened on the Saturday that we were returning from New York. So that was really our first opportunity to celebrate her birthday with her. So we did that. It was a lovely, lovely evening. We had some good food at Olive Garden, and then she wanted to go over to Target and did some shopping, and she chose a makeup kit. So we'll see what that ends up doing for, like a whole mirror. It was quite the little setup. Boy, was it a decision-making process for her too. Did I say she's 9? Yeah. So very important decisions as 9-year-olds. And then 4th of July was, of course, this past Thursday, and we celebrated 4th of July with my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, and then my brother-in-law and his wife. So it was 7 of us. One of my sons was working. So it was just my older son that came with us. And it was nice. It was a really quiet, laid-back afternoon. We barbecued and corn on the cob and strawberry shortcake and just chilled out, and then headed home late afternoon, I guess. And then we hung out at home for a little while, and then we went down to our local fireworks in my town. I live in Auburn, and Lewiston and Auburn are known as Twin Cities. And they always work together and collaborate on the fireworks, and they are shot up over the falls of the Androscoggin River, and so it's really, really a nice place to watch them. We went right down in the thick of it on the bridge, and stood there and watched them. I saw a bunch of my kids from school, which was kind of fun, and greeted them, and played with my new camera and some of the settings on that for the fireworks, so I can throw a couple of pictures in here of the fireworks that we took. And then that pretty much is it. We just have had a really chill weekend. Yesterday went back and visited with my mother-in-law, but spent the day relaxing, took a nap actually. Both of us, both my husband and I, took a nap, so that was really quite nice. So yeah, not a whole lot other to report this week. So I guess, yeah, this is kind of a shorter podcast, but I thank you so much for listening and tuning in. I will have links down below for all of the things that I have talked about. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so that you will know when I put out new content. And you can reach me by emailing me at michellesfiberstudio@gmail.com. You can also find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Knittin Michelle, KNITTINMICHELLE. With that, I hope you have a wonderful week and happy knitting.